Okay, today we are dealing with a phone here that has some serious lag issue. So it will boot. Looks like it's going to sleep right now. Oh, here we go. So let me actually take off this green screen filter because that's kind of messed up. Let's see if I can do that. Filter, not on you. Let's go to main camera filter and make it so that you can see. Main camera filter, take that off. There. All right, so let's look at this phone. So here's the phone, and it has touch. I can drive around the home button, and I can open it up. And then when it gives me a message like, hey, click OK to tell me you don't have a SIM card, it will respond, but it's very laggy. It takes a long time. I can swipe to a new page, but it will take a really long time for it to register my touch input. So this is what I'm calling iPhone 7 lag. So along with iPhone 7 lag, if you kind of bear with it long enough, you can open up an app and do stuff on it if you're willing to wait a really long time. There we go, I got a swipe. And I'm going to try to show you what happens when I try to open up the Voice Memo app. So this Voice Memo app being disabled is kind of your tell that you have an audio IC problem. So this is shaping up to be a kind of touch disease of the iPhone 7. So here we go. Here we are in our Voice Memo app, and you can see I don't have the ability, won't let me record a voice memo. So this is grayed out on the Voice Memo app. So lag plus Voice Memo is grayed out. That seems to kind of point us towards this new signature fault of audio IC problems in the iPhone 7. And so what it seems to be happening is if you take off the audio IC, if you do enough of these, that you'll find that the C12 pad under audio IC tends to come off, meaning it wasn't attached, and that seems to be where the fault is. So I'm going to see what happens if we just change the audio IC on this device, and we're going to take some measurements and try to see if we can kind of drill down to what is that C12 pad supposed to be doing, and is it okay. On this one, I was looking at it earlier, and I believe that I already just reballed the existing audio IC this time, and that didn't seem to help. So I'm going to try changing the audio IC. All right, so the board is out on this one. Okay, so I'm going to take the audio IC off of this phone, and then we're going to take a diode mode measurement on that C12 pad and see what it is. And then I'm going to do the same thing to my known good iPhone 7 that has never been dropped. This phone, how did it get to be like this? It was in a car crash. So drop seems to be what kind of triggers this problem. So let's go ahead and give that a whirl. So we'll look under the microscope and find our audio IC. And it looks kind of scuzzy since I have reballed this one. But there he is, good old audio IC. So let's go ahead and take that sucker off and see what we can learn. All right. Okay, we've got some folks joining us on chat. Can the audio IC issue on 7.7 Plus to display only an Apple logo even after restore? So I believe that if you, I'm not sure that an iPhone 7 will boot at all if it has no audio IC. That's one of the things that we can check while we're doing this repair, and it may not restore at all or fail to restore. So it's a little bit unclear exactly what is the kind of summary of problems that you can get with this audio IC stuff. So that's what we're going to try to figure out. All right, so let's get this chip off. I'm going to put a recorder on my adjacent NAND. Let's see if you guys can see that reasonably well. I also noticed while I was just kind of sitting here hanging out with this phone doing a different job, I was letting it charge up the battery a little bit, and I could hear kind of just crackling, like audio stuff coming out of the phone every now and then, which also kind of points to audio IC stuff. That is taking longer than I'd like it to, which tells me that I need to turn up my heat or airflow. Alright, so there is audio IC off, and I'm going to clean up these pads. Oh, come on, station. The station has been growing a problem with its switch. I need to take it apart. Come on. Don't make me steal somebody else's station. You can do it. Turn on. Stay on, mofo. Come on. God damn it. Don't be completely unresponsive. God damn it. Fail of the Hako 203. Yep, switch is not working at all. All right, let's swap it out. Don't tell Mike that we're stealing his station. All right, so that's one of the good things about teaching practical board repair school is that you can always steal, always plenty of stuff to steal from somebody else. All right, so we're going to swap this out. There we go. Back in business. Mike had to do a job today. It was the first day of practical board repair school, and he's like, I don't have an iron. Oh yeah, I borrowed that. If you do come to the course, you want to try not to pick the station that is closest to me, because that's going to be the one that I'm robbing blind when you're not here. So we're just going to go over these pads and make some puffy pillows. Okay. Let's clean that off, and we'll take a diode mode reading of our C12 pad here. And let's see what's going on with chat. Station sounds like one of the windings in the motor has gone open circuit. The hot air, that's just because I have something sitting on top of it. Plus, I'm constantly dropping the handle on the floor, and every time I do that, it makes the shape of the nozzle become less and less what someone in kindergarten would identify on their shapes quiz as a circle, and more like some kind of unidentified alien shape. Alright, so our C12 pad here is intact, and let's get a diode mode reading on it. All right, I'm going to click over and make sure that I know which one it is. So C12 is the third one down on the end. So let's get a diode mode reading. We'll do the trust-based method. So it's right here. Let's look at it. You know, it seems okay, seems intact. Let's get a reading. All right, so on ours, the C12 reading is 0.585. That's not diode mode. Let's get into diode mode. My kid left my multimeter out in the rain, so I'm having to use a different one that is not the one I'm used to. Right, 0.446. So it's hanging out at 0.446. That sounds like it's probably normal, but I don't know for sure. And it seems to be steady, 0.446, 0.446. All right, so let's go ahead and take off the audio IC on the known good board, and we'll see whether or not we get that same reading. Because if this is not audio IC, then we're going to have to do some more investigation. I took with it a buddy. We'll leave that off for now. All right, let's clean up these pads and get another diode mode reading. Now, if we wanted to, we could diode mode under this entire audio IC and see if there was some other problem. All right, so this one also looks good under here. Let's check it out. Where'd you go? All right. Do you use non-removable pen to mark your phones like you have on the NAND? No, I use a bunch of these little stickers, so I'm constantly replacing just standard little label stickers. And if I put them in ultrasonic, I take the sticker off and stick it back on the NAND. But labeling every piece of the phone is super important. So every device gets a sticker on the screen, it gets a sticker on the screw tray. That's all the number with the device. It has a same matching sticker on the note, on the back of the housing, and on the board. So every piece, and our note tells us exactly how was it received, complete, board and back housing, board only, etc. Does it have a SIM tray? Did it have pentalobes? So that we have a record of how it was received, and it will go back out the same. Okay, so let's take a diode mode reading on this good board's C12 and see what the deal is with that. Okay, so diode mode on C12 is 0.427. That's probably close enough. 0.428, 0.429, and this board is a little bit warm, so it's going to be pretty much a match, 0.430. And let's go back to the bad board. Let's see. And let's look around. Let's just do a little visual exam here and see, is there any other pad that looks like it's, going to be problematic. So we're at 0.457 on this board. Let's do the other ones that have kind of a trace coming in from the side here. All right, so down here I have on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down from the end. I have open line. Let's see if that's a match on my good board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also open line. These next two guys, I have 0.717 and 0.669, so let's compare those. .738, 0.689, so we'll call those close enough to a match. Let's look around on any other trace that kind of comes from the side, and so therefore could likely get pulled or beat up. All right, 0.433, 433, 0.705. Let's check over here. 435, 436, 0.697, so that's close enough. 434, 277. 443, 267. All right, so as far as we can tell on those two sides, any trace that's kind of coming in from the side, and I'm picking that because the M1 fault in iPhone 6 Plus Touch is a trace that kind of comes from the side and it seems to get pulled. All right, so let's try this side then. This is OL 351. OL, so let's check over here. OL 364. OL. Okay, so everything on here seems to be a match with the between the good board and the bad board. So the last thing that I want to check before we kind of just move on and say let's put on a new audio IC, the pad that we know comes off a lot, meaning there was a crack in the track there and the pad was already separated, so it comes off with the audio IC. The C12 pad, it goes to this resistor here, and I can see on that resistor I get 0.452. The other side of the resistor is going to go to the CPU. So that's kind of the same line. And we know that this pad, when it's missing or damaged, we know that the phone behaves like this with this grayed out voice memo and a lot of lag for touch. So let's just check sort of the other side of that line if we can get a probe in there, which is pretty difficult to do. Let's see. Let's see if I can do that. I would really like to get that reading. All right, so I'm going to try to hold the board at an angle then. And can I get a probe under there without also touching ground? That's touching ground. All right, I'm going to pull that bracket up. I'd really like to get that measurement between this C12 line and the CPU side. All right, so to do that, I gotta just nudge that bracket up a little bit. Give me some space. All right, maybe that will do it. Let's try to get that measurement. So this is on the good board. All right, let's get that spot. All right, 0.440 on the CPU side. So let's check our bad board. Nudge that up a little bit over there to get that reading. Just a little bit. All right. Post rework markings that he keeps washing them off. One of the guys that sends a lot of boards here for data does these kind of like yard sale tags where he has a string tag that has a paper tag on it, and those at least stay on even if the pen kind of gets faded on it a little bit. All right, 0.444. Okay. So in our diode mode readings that we've bothered to take, we didn't probe the entire audio IC just for the sake of time. So what I'm going to do is just see if putting a new audio IC on will solve this one. So should I run a jumper to beef up that C12 pad? And at this point I'm going to say not on this one, because I don't think it's enough of a signature problem. I haven't seen enough of them with that pulled C12 pad to be worth kind of running a prophylactic jumper. If this was a if this was a M1 pad on an iPhone 6 Plus, I definitely would, because we know that that is a signature problem. But on this one, I'm not, I haven't seen enough of them to say, oh yeah, that's definitely what this is. So for now, I'm going to just put on a new audio IC and see if that makes a difference, or is there another cause for this same exact phenomenon going on that's a different chip. Let's find out. All right, so I'm going to grab a new audio IC and figure this out. All right. All right, so I want to just kind of compare the markings on these. Make sure they're all the same. So that's the one I took off. And this is the new one. It's got a bit of a janky ball, but we'll go with it. All right, let's stick it back on there and see what happens. All right, so he's gone into place. All right, so we're gonna let that cool down and see if just simply changing audio IC makes a difference. Now, if that diode mode reading had come up higher than normal, meaning open line, then I would do something to increase continuity or enhance that trace. So that would mean running a micro jumper from the adjacent resistor on that same C12 line. Let's look up while we're waiting for it to cool down and see what line that is. So let's take a look and go over to ZXW. Let's see if we can turn on ZXW. ZXW. All right, so here we are at ZXW. All right, so this is iPhone 7 audio IC, and this is the guy here, pad C12. So C12 is the guy that seems to come off when you just take off an audio IC that has a lag or no voice memo issue. So what line is it? The line is this I2S AP, which is the CPU, 2 codec, which is the audio IC, M clock. So if we copy that and see where does it go, it goes to this resistor, and then after that it doesn't go anywhere else, doesn't go anywhere on the top. So it goes to the resistor, and since a resistor is an inline component, that means this line goes through the resistor, and on the other side it goes from the resistor to the CPU itself. So that's it. It just is a communication between the CPU to the audio IC, and it doesn't seem to do anything else. And we know for sure that that line is important for the phone to, strange enough for it to be able to operate in a way that doesn't create these like long, 25-second lags every time you touch the screen, even though the screen itself does have touch. So let's click out of ZXW and put this one back together. It'll continue to cool down as we go, and see if it still has the same behavior or not. Now, if not, what does that mean? If not, then this would be, I've already tried reballing its native audio IC. That didn't work. So this will be the second audio IC that this phone has gotten. So if this doesn't solve, then I would have to really kind of extend the search to say, is there a second fault, some other chip that could cause this exact same problem? So I think at that point I would really be required to do a full diode mode map between an audio IC in the bad phone and a good phone to see, are there any other lines? And I'd have to do that just because we know that CPU communication to audio IC can cause this lag and lack of voice memos. And then after that, I would have to kind of look farther afield and think about, are there other lines that are kind of CPU communication lines to other chips, and go look for kind of similar faults under those other chips. But let's see what the deal is with this one. So since it's an iPhone 7, I need to put a screen on it with a front camera assembly. Since we've learned that iPhone 7s care whether or not they get their data from their front camera, they don't like to boot with no front camera after iOS 11. And another thing you want to kind of keep in mind, and I would probably rule this out next, is that iOS 11.0.3, and we're now past that, but 11.0.3, the notes that came out with the device said that, I believe the note said they were going to fix some software issues that would make it not recognize some of those 6S screens from third-party and I believe that they fixed some audio IC issues. So we would, if we've ruled out kind of audio IC hardware, then we would want to rule out audio IC software. All right, so let's get this together enough to let us give it a try to boot. So iPhone 7s, they like to get all their sensors. They like their home button, they like their fingerprint sensor. They don't like to boot without stuff that they think should be attached. All right, so let's see what's going to happen. All right, so this is booting up, and we will see whether or not it still has a lag or not. All right, so it's still booting. And let's see if we can make this bigger. We might get a little bit of a clue as how long it takes to boot. If it takes forever, it is going to take a long time because this is not the native home button on this one. All right, so let's see how long does it take to boot. We'll just make this big. My camera is super messed up. I have no idea if it is got, you know, if somebody turned it off and changed a setting on it, or if the cable's going bad, or what, but it's all grainy, and I am too under the weather to try to fix that. Let's see what's going on in chat while we wait for this thing to boot up. She has links on her preferred equipment in the description. Yes. I wonder if you were to benchmark a phone with this kind of issue, would you see a difference in performance overall? Yes. I mean, I sat here just trying to test the cameras, and it would just be extremely laggy. So it's not a touch issue. It's a I can't understand what you want me to do issue. So if you were to, it came in with a complaint about cameras, so I fixed some of that stuff earlier, and I wanted to check to see if cameras would work. You know, you could wait, open the app, it'll load the app. So touch itself is fine. I can drive the home button around just fine. It's asking it to do stuff like, you know, hey, swipe a page, hey, open an app, that it really doesn't like to do. All right. What'd you say about recognizing 6S screens? All right, so this is still trying to boot. It just kind of clicked dark for a second, which seems to be pretty common with iPhone 7 boot. I'm going to plug it in and make sure, see what kind of charging current it's pulling. All right, so I'm going to leave that in there for a second. Tim Sherman says, we do most definitely know it's audio related, since at the same time, no audio. I think the lag is the processor processing massive amounts of errors. Yes, you know, that's the thing with all of this sort of long boot time, is it's having a problem. Now this one is going to have a long boot time because it's asking, hey, fingerprint sensor, hey, my native fingerprint sensor, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? And it's getting a big fuck you from the fingerprint sensor, because this is not the native screen. So it is going to be a long, slow boot time. If this was the native screen, then we would already know, yeah, this is still very laggy and still has some kind of a problem. All right. So yeah, iOS 11 has a lot of ID checks for internal inputs. Yes, so iPhone 7 and then plus iOS 11 does not like to boot if it can't say for sure. It's like a super Apple phone, you know, where it needs to control everything. I got to check. I got to make sure that nobody's been messing with me. I got to make sure I got my cameras. I got to make sure I got my ambient light sensor. I got to make sure I've got all my native stuff, or I'm not going to boot. All right, so well, this is taking forever, so it's definitely still has a long boot time, and we don't know whether or not it is going to still have this lag. All right, so it's still hanging out on the Apple logo. All right, there we go. So it did boot. Now let's see what the deal is. All right, so let's see. All right, wake up, mofo. All right, so it still has touch, so it's not touch. It doesn't mind me driving around the home button. Let's ask that thing, hey, open up. It doesn't want to do it. Of course, home button doesn't work because it's not native. Open my home button. All right, so it seems to be in the same state that it was in before. So now this phone has had 2 audio ICs, and you know, we can pretty much rule that out. All right. Keep going. Keep going. All right, so now let's ask it. Let's ask it about voice memos and just see if that's still grayed out. No, don't try to open iBooks. I'm swiping you. I want you to go to voice memos. I want to see voice memos. All right, so it's just whatever you do, it's just gotta, you know, take absolutely forever. Now I would plug this phone into iBackupBot. Let's see if I can do that on screen and see if I can see what kind of errors it is reporting. So that's kind of a fun trick. I'm not sure iBackupBot is gonna work with iPhone 7, maybe not. Let's try 3U tools. Let's see if we can find some errors. Okay, give me voice memos. I'll wait. I don't have anything else to do, sure. All right, let's try voice memos. Let's do that first before we connect this up. All right, so voice memos is still grayed out. So we still don't have our voice memos going. So at this point, I would want to rule out software. All right, so let's see if we can check what version of iOS this phone is on. I was hesitant to try to update it earlier because because this phone doesn't have its native home button. So if I hit update, it's going to require the native home button in order to tell me about it. So it's on 11.0.1. All right, now before I update, I want to see if I'm going to plug it into a computer, and I'm going to see if I can see what kind of errors it's throwing, and maybe that will tell us something. So let's try that. So if I can get this going, then I'll see if I can drag it over here to OBS. All right. Trust this computer? Yes. Trust. Got it? Yeah, trust. There you go. Did you trust? Please don't make me type in the passcode to trust. Interesting. This accessory may not be supported. That's a TriStar kind of error. That would not be super compatible with the rest of the presentation of the device, but what do we know? All right, let's see. All right, let's see if we can look at a log. Let's see. All right. Real-time log. All right, so we're gonna see if I can add a window of this stuff. Actually, I'll just go to screen. Screen. Nope, that doesn't help. Let's see. Can you add a window on the fly? Add a window. Window capture 3, sure. And can you do 3U tools? No? How about this 3U tools? No. Boo. That should work. Nothing's working today. Yeah, that doesn't help. Delete. Alright, so when I click over to screen, you can't see the screen. So I'll just leave it on that. So let me just tell you, what does it say? Alright, I've got a bunch of final decision must not proceed. So that's all network quality policies. Alright, that's not super interesting. So a whole lot of network quality policies. Let's see what happens if we ask it to do something. So the phone is just kind of hanging out right now. And let's see what happens if we try to open up that Voice Memos app again for fun. Press home to open. So it's letting me click through settings just fairly normally. And now let's do Voice Memos. Open up. Let's see, what is it saying? All right, it's talking about FB scene snapshot action, Apple preferences, task finished, remote keyboard. What are you talking about? Must not proceed. Charger plugged in policy. Response. Decision must not proceed. Score 0. All right. What else is this? This is network quality policy. So it's a lot of things saying device activity policy. All right, Voice Memos. Open up Voice Memos and tell me what you're thinking about while you try to do that. Come on. There you go. You got anything about this? All right. Network quality policy. Response. Decision must not proceed. Score 0. Rationale. Network path availability. Required. 1. Observed. 0. All right, what else does it have in here? All right, all this looks pretty boring. Attention aware idle timer timeout context. All right, I'm going to click out of this and see if I can pull that up in my backup bot. All right, let's see. Hey, somebody said they bought a quick from me and not Lewis. I did trust this thing. What are you talking about? Click yes, retry connect device. You can connect to this device just fine. Don't tell me that. You can connect. Hit yes, retry. All right, so iBackup bot, at least this version, doesn't like to work with iOS 11, which is not a huge surprise. All right. All right. Should run the jumper. Maybe, but it didn't have any kind of indication that there was a crack in the track. The diode mode reading was okay, and it doesn't come up from the bottom, it comes from the side, and that all seemed okay. I mean, I guess I probably will run the jumper because this just seems really classic for that problem. But I kind of really want to update the iOS as well. All right, what to do? Should I do the jumper? The camera seems to be working okay. You can see the camera. Look, it sees me. Hey, selfie camera is working. Look, you can see you. Should I run the jumper or should I try to update the software? If I update the software, I think it's going to say click home button to like update, and I don't think that it will let me do that without the native home button. So we might get stuck, and then we won't know. Do you think I should take off audio IC and run the jumper even though the diode mode reading was okay? Let's see. Let's have you guys decide what to do. All right. Who is it that really wants to run the jumper? Stellar Cellular. Another vote for jumper. I kind of want to know. I kind of would like to just know for sure that it's not that it's not the jumper, but it still doesn't really make sense. Why would you put a jumper on a line that matches normal? So what could be a reason there? That doesn't really make sense unless it is, I don't know. Run jumper, don't update. All right, I think we could probably run the jumper in the time that it takes us to continue to think about whether or not we should run a jumper. Let's just do it. Rule it out, and then we will kind of put a stop on this with software update and see if we can get it solved. Because the alternative is diode mode everything under audio IC, and I don't feel like doing that because it's too late and I've been teaching all day. And I kind of feel like I'm getting sick. Or I definitely don't like the idea of hunt down every other possible I2C communication line to the CPU that it could also be, and figure out what is the other chip or line that causes the same exact problem. Although I would like to know, but that's kind of a morning repair. When you're fresh and you feel like doing, hey, let's figure this out. At 11 o'clock, when you kind of feel sick, that's not the time where you feel like figuring this out. Here, let's just have you guys take a look at this. All right, so let's get this audio IC off. One of the things that we could do that I kind of want to do is check that other board now that is absolutely known good, that does not have an audio IC on it at all, and ask the question, can an iPhone 7 boot if it does not have an audio IC on it at all? Will it boot? Will it blend? Will it boot? I don't know. I don't think this jumper's going to do anything. If you have a touch disease phone where you have an intact M1 pad, it's hard to make an argument that putting a new Mason on is not going to bring back touch. If you don't have an M1 pad, absolutely. And running a jumper for 6 Plus Touch is a good idea as just preventative maintenance. But I don't think it's certainly not going to make the difference on a 6 Plus between not having touch and having touch. So on this one, I think we got a good chance that this is either going to be, after having repaired audio IC, it now needs to restore or update. That's a possibility. Or that there's a very similar thing going on with, that the problem is CPU can't say something it needs to on one of its CV channels, and therefore the whole thing is laggy. And the voice memos being grayed out is kind of what's pointing to audio IC, but it may not be. Alright, let's run the goddamn jumper. Now if this does work, I'll be surprised. And then it'll mean, you gotta be putting a jumper on every single audio IC you ever do ever again. All right, let's get a jumper on there. Okay, which means I'm gonna have to get out a tiny little micro pencil, change the soldering station because mine is not working. Okay, let's get a little tiny speck of jumper wire. So we'll use our super thin stuff. That stuff looks plenty thin. Now let's get super close here. Looks like that tip had some cornflakes on it. Let's clean up, let's de-cornflake it. All right, let's see if we can hunt down what happened to my little thin wire. Where'd you go, bro? Let's get to the end. All right, there's the end. God damn it. Alright, so let's get this down here and stick any part of it here. No! Fucker. Alrighty.
Okay, seems okay. Let's clean that up and stick
Stick another audio IC on there. Later I'll come back and reball these ones, but too tired for that right now. Too tired for that right now. Alright, that all seems fine. Gonna just make sure that I don't have any kind of little speck of insulation that I don't want on the top of that jumper. Alright, seems fine. Okay. Alright, coming up, new audio IC. It's rare to have bad chips, but you know, you always kind of have to keep that on your radar screen. I don't think that's what's going on here though. Alright, let's take a look at this chip. That seems okay. Seems legit. Let me make sure that those numbers are a match. That's one of them that I took off. That's another one that I took off. Okay. Now sitting it on top of a jumper, I kind of want it to go straight down. Alright, let's see what happens. Seems good. I know that was a little bit out of screen for you, but I didn't want to be at the wrong angle. Okay, so we can see that our jumper looks good, and we'll let it cool down and see what happens now. Alright, what's going on with, what do you guys see? Let's see. Does it boot without the IC? Let's find out. So while that cools down, let's take the other board. So this is my known good 7. So this is a board that never had anything wrong with it. And see, can you boot with no audio IC? Can you boot with no audio IC in the same housing? Can you boot? Let's find out. So I'm connecting everything up so that he doesn't have anything to complain about. I don't want him to complain about his cameras and what have you. Okay, with no audio IC, can you boot at all? Let's find out. Can you boot? Does it boot without? Let's find out. Where is the native home button? Back at whoever sent it to me shop, even though I said don't send me 7 Plus unless they're in the full housing. All right. Everybody's a fan of the jumpers. It would be great if updating fixes the issue instead of jumping every audio IC failure that comes through the door. Well, I think that if you have the home button, definitely update before trying to fix audio IC issues, period. Because some of them are going to be fixed with update. All right, let's see. Will it boot? Will it boot with no audio IC? Now, this used to boot totally fine, with no problems, no lag, no nothing. All right. Was that jumper soldered from the chip contact over to the contacts beside the audio IC? Yeah, I mean, this line goes from the audio IC pad to the resistor. That's it. And then the resistor other side goes to the CPU. That's the whole line. All right. Lauren C. is surprised that the Apple logo even shows up. Well, I mean, on every other phone, it doesn't need, phone doesn't care about audio IC. You can definitely boot a 6S, 6S Plus, a 6 Plus, a 5S, an SE, all those guys. They're not knocking on the door of the audio IC and going like, bro, are you going to be okay, dude? If this guy wants to play tunes, wake up. We can't even boot at all unless I know that you can play tunes. Because if this guy can't hear, hey, it did boot with no audio IC. All right, now let's see. Does it have any kind of lag? Let's see. We got our free home button. Okay, no audio IC. Yes, lag. My phone! I've broken my phone, my beautiful phone. This one, if I felt like staying here all night, I could stick a new audio IC just to confirm that these chips are good and are working and are able to substitute for the native audio IC. Touch. All right, so now I've made my known good Jessa phone is now turned into a lag phone just because I took off audio IC. Come on. I already pressed you. Okay, so let's see. So it does boot. Technically, you could get data off of this phone even with no audio IC. So that is a good piece of information that I wouldn't have expected. That I have a serious lag, but I was able to. Why'd you just click off, mofo? Uh-oh, that's not good. It figured out. No audio IC detected. Abort. Shut up. Boot. All right, but at least I think you probably could have gotten data. Let's see what happens if I plug this sucker in. I don't think it was low battery, though. So it's rebooting. I don't know why that would have dropped. That's kind of interesting because I feel like I pressed and waited for it to clear that error message about SIM card. It kind of never did. Does Bluetooth audio work? Well, I can't get to anything. Contacting mothership. Yes. All right. All right. It's probably... This is what drives me crazy with all of these iPhone 7. When they're like this, you're just sitting here... You know, I made some post about, like, you know, times that I've spent staring at the Apple logo since iOS 11 has gone up like 100-fold. Contacting mothership. I like that. All right. It's probably not worth it to even wait on this, but I kind of want to know, would I have been able to get data off of this phone with no audio IC? That's the question that we kind of really want to know. Like, for every data recovery that has a bunch of corrosion under audio IC on the 7 Plus, are you going to have to do a bunch of audio IC repair just to get data? Stalwart Computer says it takes longer when you watch. Boot, motherfucker. What if you say boot, motherfucker, boot? I find that phones don't boot unless you say that. All right, and there's some kind of thing going on here. So this is my charging current. This is low. And this phone absolutely, you know, doesn't have any kind of TriStar defect. Oh, it just spiked up there for a second. But that's how a phone behaves, these low numbers. That's a phone that's in DFU. That's a phone that doesn't know that its software is telling them it's okay to boot. Could composite a waiting for Apple logo timer on your videos. That would be hilarious. Yeah, who wants to make one of those? Which one of you guys that knows how to make cool stuff in OBS could make a... It would be kind of fun for like a whole year, you know, like if it kind of like kept tally. Time spent waiting for the phone to boot up, staring at the Apple logo. Tick, 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 tick. See how many minutes of your life is wasted at the end of the year. All right. You don't know if Apple has introduced a bug in the iOS that's influenced another problem like touch, supposedly fixed in 11.0.3 or what? If the iOSs were less frequent. Yes, that's true. All right. I hate this sandwich idea. I have no intention of taking apart an iPhone X. Aren't we supposed to be... Who's saying iPhone X versus iPhone 10? The Apple... when Tim Cook's on stage, he's like, it's the iPhone 10. No, I don't think anybody's calling it a 10. All right. Okay, it booted again. Would we be able to get data on this phone? Let's find out. Let's try to plug it into a computer. Also interested to see if it tells me accessory not supported. All right, press home to open. Okay. Press home to open. All right. No SIM card, okay. Oh, it's healed itself. Nope. It's funny that you can use it if you can click through those messages real quick before it realizes that, you know, the jig is up. Then you can get a path to data. All right, so this phone is connected to iTunes before, so it is now syncing this phone. So I'm getting data off of this phone because, oh look, this accessory may not be supported. Now that's a different cable. I've changed the cable from the last time. So that is interesting. This accessory may not be supported is a... I can't hear the E75 telling me, trust me, bro. What'd you say? This accessory may not be supported. So it's interesting that, you know, audio IC, this is clearly audio IC, and that's what's going on. All right, now I'm good. Let's see what happens if I go to voice memos. Let's see what happens if I try to go to anything. Open up, mofo. Voice memos. It'd be hilarious if voice memos was not grayed out. Open up. Open sesame. Should I hit it again? Is it one of those things like, come faster, elevator? Oh, damn! I got trolled. Open voice memos. Hey Siri, open voice memos. There we go. And voice memos is grayed out with no audio IC on whatsoever. I can go back home. Let's see, is it still slow if I try to do something like camera? I'm pretty sure I plugged in the rear camera. I might not have. Yeah, there we go. All right, rear camera. Can it take a picture? Take a picture. Take your time. I'm good. I got all night. Did you take a picture? Oh, there you go. Look at how slow it's taking a picture. It's taking a picture. It's going to be really overexposed. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. It seems like it has given up. What about... Oh, did you? Did you take a picture? Tried. Man, that was like remedial phone picture taking. That was like this iPhone is you know, kind of, it's like asking an iPhone 1 to take an HDMI picture or a 4K picture. All right. Okay, super frustrating. Let's go back. So we're going to put that down on as, yes, I can get a phone with no audio IC to boot, and I can get data from it, but it has super lag, no voice memos, and it doesn't like to take pictures. So let's swap it out, and now let's put in the good old jumper phone and see if adding that jumper has changed anything. And I doubt it. I don't think that is going to make a difference, but we'll see. I could be surprised on this one. Let's find out. So this phone has already had a reballed audio IC, and then it got a new audio IC. Same problem. It's acting as if it has no audio IC. It's acting the same as a phone with no audio IC at all. All right, transferring everything over. Accessory not supported. Got that camera connected like a noob. I'm pretty sure my 13-year-old could have gotten this done way faster. All right, connected. Okay, back to the broken phone. Does it still have lag and all sorts of problems? iOS limp mode. You can call it limp mode. Yeah, it's in limp mode. It'll limp along. Yeah, it's like in my truck, you know, where I'm dragging the camper up a hill and it's starting, the engine is sounding worse and worse and worse, and then it just is like burp. I'll drive, but I'm in like you seriously need to go straight from here to the guy who knows how to fix trucks' house and stop trying to go camping. It's not happening. It's in truck disabled mode. I'll drive, but you're not going more than 12 miles an hour. That's just not happening. Technically, I'm fine if, you know, if this was life or death, I could be capable of driving 55, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to, just by being a pain in your ass, I'm going to force you to go straight to the mechanics and take this shit seriously. It seems like the SoC is clocking down to very low frequencies. Also, the first time was an accidental enter press. Well, it's too tempting. It's like, you know, hey, here's a button and it says click OK. Touch it. No, just wait. Don't keep doing it. So I got into trouble when I was setting up this stream because I was like trying to get it off of orientation lock. And every time I would hit it, it would just be like, orientation lock is on. Orientation lock is off. Okay, good. Orientation lock is on. No, damn it. I must have hit it 3 times. All right, so this is still seeming like we're going to be in the same boat. We have the slim chance that this lag is just due to the home button. But we definitely don't know. You have the 6.0 power stroke, right? In that truck, it had the word power stroke on the side of it. That truck, the rest in pieces truck, the old white Ford was the, you know, equivalent of the 2011 MacBook Pro with GPU issues. I think it was the 2006 Ford F-250 turbo diesel piece of shit. That's the one where you're like, oh, what kind of truck did you get? And you tell them, and they're like, ooh. This is like everyone that knows anything about trucks is like, oh no, you don't buy that one. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. All right. Okay. This is getting ready to be the end of the line for me. All right. So on this one, I'm gonna have to go to bed because it's super late and I have to teach in the morning as well. So with this one, when it comes up with the exact same problem, then I think my next step would be what happens if I ask it to go to 11.0.3. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not going to wait for that on stream, but I'll let you guys know what happens. And if that doesn't solve, then I think I would have to, number one, confirm that these chips are good and are working because they're all from the same strip. They're all new. I haven't used them successfully before, so this is kind of a new batch. So I would have to stick one back on my known good and say, hey, can I heal you up with one of these audio ICs? And just kind of rule out variables, making sure that my audio ICs are compatible and working and there's nothing, you know, super janky about them. Do you plan to do Android repairs in the future? We do Android repairs right now. Off topic, but I use the FM 2023 tweezers and notice the tips do not line up perfectly. Have you experienced this issue? Yeah, it's hit or miss on whatever tips you get. You know, sometimes they are perfect and most times they're not. So that's just, you know, the way that it is. All right, here we go. Let's see. Phone booted. Come on, let me click those real quick. No, come on. All right, so it looks like we're in the same old category. All right, let's see. Click away that one. Yes, yes, yes. I know. You don't have your Touch ID and you don't like it. It's all right. You're going to be all right. Okay, so we can swipe around. Now let's check on the ye olde voice memos. Now that we've replaced audio IC with the jumper, it looks like we're in the exact same boat. At least that makes sense. It doesn't make sense that if you don't have a diode mode defect, then there's nothing really to solve with a jumper. At least not now. A jumper, the reason why we do M1 jumper is because we know that down the road, stress and pulling is going to pull that off and make a problem. But if there's no problem right now, we're not interested in preventing a future problem on this device. We're interested in solving the current problem. So, all right, and this is still, let me make a voice memo, bro. Come on. All right, so he says no on voice memos. Let's plug him in. And let's update 11.0.1 update. 11.1 includes bug fixes for your iPhone or iPad. This update fixes. An issue with the keyboard autocorrect. Oh, good. So everybody's going to stop hitting that question mark symbol. All right, so that's going to update. And if update doesn't solve, then we have a bigger project to try to go on a hunt. First, we kind of have to confirm that the chips are good. And let's say we do that. Then after that, yeah, this accessory may not be supported. Then we'd have to start taking clues like that. Accessory may not be supported. That sounds like it can't hear on some kind of a line that's relevant to TriStar. So, let's look around and see what other kind of chips from a car crash history could get a cold joint that would also be on some kind of CPU communication line. That's pretty broad. So we'd have to really kind of look to see, is there any kind of physical bend or twist in the board that might point us in a certain direction and things like that. All right. Time to get a bigger hammer. All right, so let's see. So it is, this computer is downloading this update. Oh geez, that's gonna take longer than I think I want to sit here for. All right, let's see. I just ate an entire can of pineapple chunks in heavy syrup. That is great. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a cold, but I definitely don't want that to be true. So I'm going to pretend that's not true. But I have the big day of the course. The heart of the course is tomorrow, where we talk about all of the little dudes that are in any device. What do they do? How do they fail? How do we use the multimeter? How do we measure them? And build them all together in some basic circuits, and then send these guys off to use from the schematics to troubleshoot some common problems. Tomorrow, that's sort of a big day. Today was just technical proficiency, so I want to be sure to be fresh and ready for them tomorrow morning and not sit here and do this all night long. Oh man, I really don't want to be this internet is so slow. All right, I just want to know. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think this takes too long to sit here and update. So I'm going to end this stream, and I will post in the comments what happened when the update went through, whether or not the phone option A didn't have its native home button. I want to know if it's true that a phone cannot update without its home button, because that sucks. If you have a phone for data recovery that needs to update because it has a software corruption after you fix some problem, and they don't have the home button anymore because they sent the board here and they sent it there and they sent it there and they no longer have the housing, that is going to be a deal breaker. So I hope that's not true. So I will let you guys know what happens, whether or not the home button is required for update to iOS 11.1. And then next, I will let you know whether or not software update solved this problem or not. And if it did, that's fantastic. And that kind of really makes you say, let's really focus on software update first. And then number 3, if it doesn't, then I will let you know. I'll probably come back to this one. This guy needs it back though, so I'm not sure how much more time I can put into it. But that means that we all need to go on a hunt. Everybody, not just me. Everybody go on a hunt and find out what are the other CPU communication lines. Remember, this line, remember who he was? It was this, let's go ZXW and remember him. This line right here, which, now I can't see ZXW, god damn it. Wow, now nobody can see ZXW. Something is up with all kinds of shit in here today. All right, so ZXW, I really hate the new version. It is this line here that we know does that. So this I2S CPU to codec M clock. All right, so we could go around and look for other CPU data lines to other chips that would be similar to that and see if we can find a different defect on this phone. All right, let's see. Is that ready to go? All right, it's about to do this update. Of course, if update doesn't work, then restore is next. But we'll see. Update. I'm super tired. It's gonna update. Let's see. Preparing iPhone for software update. Why doesn't screen work? That doesn't make any sense. What happens if I add a scene for screen? Oh man. Display capture. Yeah, captured the display. Why does that not work? It's chugging along. I got a dot. Get off that. Oh, I cannot be getting sick. I can't handle being sick. All right. I wonder if 3U tools would do any better if iTunes update fails. In my experience, I have never found a case where 3U tools, hey, update anyway, works. I don't believe that 3U tools DFU quote update is any different than update. Maybe if you guys have had experience with that, let me know. I don't believe that there's I've certainly never had any kind of case where it failed update but passed 3U tools. All right, let's see. Hopefully the update completes. Yeah, exactly. We did run the jumper. Beers. I'm not having any kind of beers. Oh man, I'm super tired. Come on, update, mofo. It's almost done. Can you see it? It's getting so close. All right. Need to fix my camera, fix my soldering station, fix my OBS. All right, we're gonna hang out for you guys to see the end of this, just for the sake of completion, and I will tell you my current beef, which is with Girl Scouts of America, the goddamn Girl Scouts. So my daughters are doing Daisy Scouts, and oh my god, this organization is just I just want to shoot myself in the face, because there's so much messaging about girl power, girls can do anything, and then all they do is color and do crafts. So they have to do like a strength and courage pedal. They got to earn the red pedal. What should we do for strength and courage? And the ideas are ridiculous. They're like, we'll read a story about someone that had strength and courage, and then we'll make a craft of superhero cuffs. No, man, reading a book and doing a fucking craft is not how you teach little girls about strength and courage. How about, for courage, a bunch of little girls, how about we make them all touch gross stuff? We'll get some spiders and we'll get some slime, and, you gotta touch it. Just roll in it. How about that? That sounds pretty fun. And then strength, let's see if they think they can carry some heavy shit, and they'll say no. And, you know, like, hey, this is my idea. This is what I ran by the regional coordinator and got shot down. What I'd like to do with the Daisy Troop in Strength and Courage is ask them to move a stack of firewood. Just like, take that stack of firewood that's on that corner of the driveway and put it on that corner of the driveway. We can't do that. You damn sure can. You know, get some gloves so you don't get any splinters and get busy. Make a little chain of daisies, a little daisy chain, and just pass. These logs are not overwhelmingly heavy. You're 7 years old. It is a myth that a 7-year-old girl is too weak to pick up a piece of wood, and that a pack of them can't move a wood pile. They can absolutely move a pile of wood. So I ran that by them. They're like, maybe you could think of something more appropriate. What is more appropriate than move a stack of firewood for a bunch of 7-year-old girls that need to learn about their own strength and courage? Even if they can't do it, have the courage to try. Sure, we'll give it a try. They could track a bobcat, something like that. How about strength and courage? Take care. You want to kind of keep in with your Girl Scout theme. Take care of a baby for like an hour, including changing its diaper. That takes strength and courage for sure. This thing is on its last couple of blips before we do that. Have them rebuild a small black Chevy. Yeah. All right. Give me some more ideas for strength and courage that I can actually do. And this is funny. When I pitched this to the one leader, you know, where I was like, I think that having them move a stack of firewood is a great lesson for them. And she was like, well, what about poison ivy? Poison ivy? The chance of there being a problem with poison ivy on a garage-kept stack of firewood in Rochester in January is 0. I will personally pay the medical bills for any Daisy girl that gets poison ivy for my challenge of move that stack of firewood from A to B. So that too much liability. Someone might get a splinter, but it's blindingly ridiculous. You can't have an open flame under any circumstances. This is Girl Scouts. You know, when you think about Girl Scouts, you think about s'mores. Girl Scouts invented the s'more, which is something you cook over a campfire. No open flames. So they even have these like candlelight ceremonies where, you know, you like have your candle to pass to the next group. They can't fucking light the candle in the own Girl Scout candlelight ceremony for them to cross from baby Girl Scout to big Girl Scout because they can't have, God forbid, you have an open flame. I mean, it is just absolutely insane. Nobody, they're just like completely no dudes allowed. And the Boy Scouts are over there being like, yeah, nobody really wants to do Boy Scouts either. So why don't we open up Boy Scouts to girls? So I would certainly rather enroll my daughters in Boy Scouts next year than Girl Scouts. And it's funny because the Boy Scouts are all like, yeah, we're going to meet in somebody's house and, you know, we're going to let them kind of roughhouse around. We're going to teach you guys how to do some knots, fold up a flag, sell some popcorn, do a pine wood derby. And the Girl Scouts are like, like if you were to even suggest, how about they come over to my house to do a craft? No. Are there boys at your house? Have they passed the Girl Scout training? We can't have that. We can't have them around men. No way. Can I bring my sons to the Daisy meeting? No, we can't do that. That's ridiculous. All right, so this phone has clicked itself off, but it appears to, have gotten to the end to where it should be rebooting. Shoveling snow. Yes, come shovel my driveway. That's a good idea. Yeah, LED candles. Just so dumb. What if they accidentally light it on fire? Who cares? All right, it's just ridiculous. Pick vegetables, rake leaves, wash a car. Any of those are fine. Answer questions on Apple support forums for an hour. Haha, whilst navigating the mods. Yes. Rake leaves for elderly neighbors sounds like a good one. I think we should do that. All right. Mow the lawn. Well, it is kind of winter in Rochester. It's about 24 degrees Fahrenheit we got a little bit of snow, so we got to kind of, you know, pick some things that, you know, how about build a snow fort? How about design and build a snow fort that can have a second floor or something like that? You know, figure it out. They're way smarter than you think if you kind of give them credit for stuff. All right, we're hanging out. Let's see what iTunes has to say. iTunes is saying nothing. Okay, it's booted. Yay! All right, now let's see. So we're going to finally answer our question. Trust. Oh, God damn it. Trust. Fuck you. Fuck you, fucker. No. Don't have a lag problem. Okay. 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 All right, so it still seems like now that we have updated, we've changed audio IC, we have run a jumper under audio IC, this is a second audio IC, and we still have grayed out voice memos after update. And let's see. Allow weather to access. No. Whenever it needs to think about anything, it just can't handle it. We don't have a touch problem. We can drag our little touch around just fine. But it does not like to let us do anything. It didn't seem to have a problem letting us see that we don't have any books. But if we want to do anything useful, let's try to take a picture. Oh, it took a picture pretty readily. Front camera, take a picture. It takes pictures. Did you get better? Are you fine? Let's try to play a sound. Let's see. What if we ask to look at our pictures? Did it get better? Has it healed itself? Did it just need to think about it for a while and now it's all right? Let's go back. How about voice memos? Fuck you. I want to make a voice memo, you bitch. God damn it. All right. Let's see. What else can we do on an iPhone? Normally, if I wanted to do audio stuff, I would ask it to record. Let's go. It seems to be pretty quick now. I'm going to connect to Wi-Fi and see if it can play a YouTube video. Let's see. Can you play sound, bro? Your clock is set incorrectly. Oh, good. Let's set the clock correctly. Yeah, my clock is wrong. Sweet. Maybe it'll be all right once we get the clock hooked back up. All right. Open date and time. Yeah, I've connected you to the computer. I don't see why you can't set your clock. Set your system clock to the correct time. Yeah, baby. This is going to be all of our woes. It's going to be clock. Everything seems kind of speedy now. Let's see. Don't give me that. Let's do... Oh, come on. You were doing so good. Don't give me some bullshit about clock. No, don't be a dick about fucking clock. You asshole. It's not October 12th. That's for sure. You lost a month, bro. You don't want to do that? Here, come on. You can do it fine. Let's get to your clock. Let's go find your clock. Where the hell is clock? Where's date and time? Show me. Let's get off of that. Why aren't you automatically figuring out where the hell you are? Yes, I know. You don't like my accessory. Doesn't want to support my accessory. Figure out your clock, bro. Alright, let's see. Let's, like, toggle our airplane mode or something. Let's see. This is going to be great. Everything is going to work because, yeah, let's set it to 1969 and then just send it back to the customer. Be like, I don't know. I had one. I told you guys about how I got seriously trolled by an iPhone 5S local walk-in where the power button would not work when the clock was not set, which would totally trolled me for a while. All right, let's like toggle some airplane mode. I wonder if it's got a GPS problem. Like, is this a GPS? I don't know where I am. Airplane mode. Let me get you out of here. Finish setting up your phone. Let's finish setting up our phone. All right, airplane mode I turned on, but it still says it has Wi-Fi. Let's turn airplane mode off. Yes, no SIM card installed. You're right. Yeah, this will be interesting if this has to do with time. Now I really want it to become the right time. That's interesting. Like, I wonder if it has, you know, a problem with this thing like moves by itself but super slow. With anything that needs to have time and date. Yes, I know. I don't have a SIM card. I'm sorry. It's almost worth going and getting a SIM card just to shut you up. All right. Does it still have an IMEI? Let's find out. We can... God damn it. It won't get itself out of airplane mode now. Come on. Get out of airplane mode so you can figure out your time. Let me swipe again. I'm going to hang out. Even when time is good, it still goes slow and mental. Real-time clock. Real-time clock used to be a PMIC thing, but I haven't looked into that since, 5 something. But we'll see. It's going to be the Y2 crystal all over again. Yay, I got out of airplane mode. All right, come on, let me scroll again, mofo. Come on. Come on, you bitch. I just want to know if I have an IMEI. I got it. All right. There we go. .1.1. So it has a firmware, it has an IMEI. I'm not showing that to you guys. And it went back to airplane mode, which I really didn't want it to do. All right, let's find out where is date and time. I can't... Tell me where date and time is so I don't have to click too many times. I want airplane mode to be not on. Airplane mode. Connect to a tower with a SIM will set the clock automagically. Rehot clock, bro. Well, it's on some crazy French network, so I'm not sure if that's going to work. Let's see what happens if I take my active SIM and stick it in there, except for the fact that it is in airplane mode, but hopefully it can just forget about that little detail. All right, I got to find a SIM tray for 7. All right, where's the SIM tray for 7? Where are you, SIM tray? Here's one. is going to be great. I'm going to heal this up. We're going to shut him up for telling us about his crying and whining about his no SIM problem. Update my carrier settings. Yes, please do. Update. All right. Is it 2:20 a.m.? It's not 2:20 a.m. No service. No shit. Where's the manual date and time? Is it under general? Date and time? Updated time zone definitions are available and will be installed the next time the iPhone restarts. I'm going to tell it what time it is right now. Today, it is 12:06 a.m. 12. Oh, no, come on. Let me scroll, Bo. Come on. You can do it. You asshole. There's no way I'll ever be able to set this manually if you won't let me scroll. All right, fine. Set automatically. Set automatically. Asshole. All right, who wants to drive over here that has some kind of Telestra? Who's on Telestra? Is that a thing? Have you tried powering off and on the phone? I'm about to try that, but before I do that, I want it to be on set automatically before I do that. It's not 12:21 a.m. It's close. Maybe I can just hang out here until it is 12:21 a.m. Set automatically, you asshole. Speak French to Siri. Tell it to smarten up. Siri, set the fucking time, you whore. Siri, make this be November 14th in New York at 12:07 a.m. or I'm gonna fucking cunt punt you, bitch. Didn't work. Fucking Siri. Telestra is Straya, not France. Really? Well, then what the fuck is this phone doing here? This is insane. Who sends this kind of shit all the way halfway around the world? Where was this car crash? Wake up. Come on, set the fucking time, you asshole. All right, let's get out of that. All right. Scroll around. You can do anything. You can take pictures. But you're fine. You don't have anything wrong with you. Except for the time. Are you still not good with voice memos? Did you get better? No? You're a lot faster than you were. I mean, it definitely doesn't have the lag that it had. It even let me take a picture. I'm only going to take another picture. It's letting me take pictures like crazy. Take a picture of you guys. It can go home. I can't connect to the internet because of the goddamn time. But I can go home. This seems to be magically delicious now. Let's see. Can I calculate stuff? 9 times 9. It works. 81. Good job, bro. You can think. Clock. World clock. How about alarm? No alarms. Alright. I mean, this seems kind of speedy now, but that's very weird. It took a long time to get over this stuff. The weather in Sydney. How the hell did this phone get to be here? Everyone, the weather in Sydney on Tuesday, which would be a month ago, it was 22 degrees. What the heck? set automatically. Now it thinks it's 5:12 a.m. on October 6th. God damn it. Take a video talk and then play it back. Oh yay, it went to set automatically. Great. So it's on Wi-Fi, it's on set automatically, but that's a good suggestion on the, you know, can I record a video with sound? Video. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear any sound on my video? Let's play it back. Play it back. What's the matter, you asshole? My video. There it is. Open, you asshole. What the hell? Okay, it's gonna do it. Play my video back. Play it. It doesn't seem to have recorded any sound on my video. Fucking audio IC. Delete video. Wait, it knew that it was today, 12:10 a.m. Yay! It figured out the time. All right. Now it knows the time. Yay! All right. So let's see. Maybe it looks like it works great. Works great. Nothing wrong with it. Now let's go check out voice memos. Asshole. All right. Now that it knows the right time, though, I'm going to restart it. And then that's it. I'm fucking going to bed. What's the time zone setting? New York. All right. Do the flex board RSIM things still work nowadays? The ones that go between the SIM and the phone to make it think it's unlocked. I don't pay a lot of attention to that, but I remember hearing things like, these don't work. Now they do. Now they don't. Now they do. So I don't know. The wheels are coming off this crazy train. Plug in the headphones to listen to it. All right. Date also set properly. Yes, so it seemed to know that where I was, and it knew what time it was, so it seems okay. All right, let's see. Incorrect dates can play havoc with TLS connections. All right, now let's see. Boot really quickly and work great so that we can all go to bed. And we'll have learned a hard lesson about making sure that your time and date are correct before you do any kind of troubleshooting after your audio IC job. Oh, man. Cunt punt. Yes, cunt punt is a phrase that was, I believe, coined by one of my own sorority sisters in the grand scheme of things. I forget her name, but she was a Delta Gamma from the Beta Sigma chapter of Delta Gamma at the University of Maryland, just like yours truly. Also a member of the DG house, having spent many a night upstairs in the DG giant dorm room bunkhouse that we all had. And so this crazy chick wrote this hilarious letter. They read it on Saturday Night Live, and she got a whole bunch of heat for it, but it was absolutely hysterical. And in that letter, she used the phrase cunt punt, as in, if any of you bitches don't show up to the Sigma Nu Greek Week event, blah, 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 I will cunt punt a bitch. Okay. Come on. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Honestly, I think that the original lag seems to have gone away. It doesn't seem laggy for touch. Certainly not like it did. So it seems like it has gotten a dose of tonic of some kind anyway. but we'll see. Can a dude get hot flashes? Sure, but they're called fevers. All right, come on. Apple cannot handle being overly ambitious, or a phone that doesn't have every single tiny little piece of it working just like factory. I think that they boot loop a little bit, just in general. Let's see what happens if we prompt. It is It is kind of on the radar screen now that because it said accessory not supported multiple times with different cables, and because the TriStar chip is, you know, kind of just so sensitive that it makes you kind of wonder if, you know, I never changed TriStar on this, and it kind of makes you wonder if, you know, just kind of like a static on the data line from car crash could have bothered TriStar, or if it just kind of also had that going on. I don't know. All right, I believe it will figure itself out here, and we'll see whether or not it still has any kind of lag. All right, super tired. I can't believe I'm still up this late. Here's the fix. A couple of hammers. iTunes detected. I have trusted this PC. Damn right I have. Alright, trust this computer. Sure. You asshole. I told you to trust. Stop giving me with your lag bullshit, you piece of shit. Touch ID. Yes, I'm aware. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we're aware. This accessory may not be supported. Well, I think that accessory should be supported just fine, because it is a certified cable that I use all the time, and nobody complains about it but you. No, look at all these other phones. Look at them all around here. None of them. Nobody has complained about that cable but you. You're the only one that has a problem with it. You know what that makes me think? It makes me think the problem is with you. This accessory may not be supported. You just don't want to support any accessories. All right, so accessory may not be supported. That kind of makes me think that, you know, there's, you know, you could have a power problem on one of your NAND line or one of your TriStar lines, something like that. USB, you know, port itself might be bad in this housing. I would rule that out first. All right, so we can flip just fine, just fine, just fine. We can open up camera, which used to be laggy and slow. We can take a picture just fine, which used to be laggy and slow. We can take another picture just fine, which used to be laggy and slow. We can go back to home. We can flip around. Once it gets booted, it seems to be okay. We can go to YouTube now that we have the right time, and we can watch this Chevrolet video and see if it has any sound. An error occurred. Please try again later. God damn it. All right, we'll go to YouTube. iPad Rehab. There's iPad Rehab right on YouTube. We'll pick this same stream. Come on, let me scroll up. I don't want to watch it on the app. Close that message. Come on. Are you getting hot or anything? Are you fine? You all right? Live now. Let's watch it. Alright, fuck you, that's taking too long. Let's check in on voice memos. Voice memos! Record my voice memo, you bitch! No voice memos. No voice memos for you. It's 12:20, that is the right time. What's going on here? Did you close my page? YouTube. Let's pick a video that's not live. Click. I'm going to take the sim out so it can stop searching. Also, I have a terrible habit when it's late at night of leaving my active sim in phones like this, going home, and then getting home and realizing, shit, I don't have a phone that works. That always sucks. So far, I have yet to actually mail my working sim to anybody, but it's definitely going to happen. Alright, and it must have... Did I disconnect the battery when I did that? I think I did. Alright, yeah, so it's going to have to boot again. Okay, time for bed. We'll let this phone just kind of hang out and do rule number 1 and try a different housing and make sure this is still going on. But bottom line is this phone got a new audio IC and it still seems to be problematic. Although I think that the extent of the lag that it had, it was completely unusable, and now it seems to at least take pictures where it didn't do that before. So at this point we kind of have to rule out stuff like software, which we've pretty much ruled out, and parts, housing, stuff like that, and make sure that we rule all that out. The thing that it's doing now that's kind of bothersome is accessory not supported with multiple different cables. So we need to kind of solve that problem to make sure that we don't just have this sort of like generalized problem of the phone just kind of gives up when it can't do anything. All right, so it seems to be pulling a relatively normal charging current and booting up. So I will let you know what happens. So far, it seems to be, you know, a kind of an experiment. We definitely learned that an iPhone 7 can boot for data recovery without audio IC. So that's a big plus. I do need to kind of verify these audio ICs on my known good and make sure that they can bring that phone back and that phone's okay. We'll definitely learn a little bit as we try to put an audio IC back on the 7. If I do put a good, or even just reball the existing one, does it wake up with these kind of problems requiring things like time and restore and stuff like that in order to get over the living without an audio IC for some point in time? So stay tuned. We will follow up on this and kind of keep drilling down. If you have anything to add, I love it when we all kind of work together as a worldwide team. If you've been messing around with audio IC issues on iPhone 7, what's your experience? How many have you seen? Have you seen any other pads pulled other than C12? What were the kind of before and after symptoms? What have you learned so that we can kind of work together to drill down on this? I will say that now that this community has come to understand the exact cause of 6+ touch disease, that's been phenomenal, and it's really helped all of us speed up that repair quite a bit. The same for the searching no service repair. That took a lot longer, and that's really because there were less people working on it. I wasn't working on it, that's for sure. So I'd love to see the iPhone 7 issues with audio IC get some research, you know, see what happens, mess around with it, delete a ball, see what happens. and just kind of contribute, share, talk, and see if we can figure out a big issue on a relatively new phone. Then we'll have a longer time that all of us can do repairs for people and keep them from having to do these early upgrades and ditch these phones that are repairable. If it takes us too long to figure this stuff out, then nobody's going to want to fix the phone because it'll be too old, and they'll just, kind of go get a new one, and that'll be really sad and wasteful for the whole world. Alrighty, that's it. Audio IC sends digital to Lightning, and then the Lightning headphone part will only amp it. Yeah, that's true. All right, time for bed. See you guys later.